Yeah.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Real Estate Hack Factory. Today we have a very special guest with us, Mr. Jake Wolfe from KlevrLeads, KlevrLeads.com. How you doing there, Mr. Jake?
I'm fantastic as always. Been very busy, so we've been playing around with a lot of different podcasts. We were on the GSD mode with Mr. Josh Smith here about last week, and a lot of work happening over here at KlevrLeads. So we're finally happy to go ahead and be out of beta and servicing a lot of folks in the real estate industry. So thanks for having me.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much for your time today. I know that you're just slammed right now, and for good reason. We're busy in the real estate market, but what you're doing on the other side and launching this, I don't know if you saw the preview of when I put this up that we were going live today, but I mean, it's a game changer for the entire real estate landscape. I mean, it's an incredible thing. You've taken the components and ideas and thoughts and elements from so many different things, and you've woven them together to make this incredible platform. KlevrLeads, and I know, you're the creator of it, the founder, the chief bottle washer, and all that good stuff. And you have some really good insight. And we were just talking before we went live about how now you're getting some much needed help with some fantastic people. But let's go back to really the basics. And why don't you explain to the group a little bit about what KlevrLeads is and what it does and how it works and why you decided to do all of this. We'll do all those in pieces.
Yeah. So I've been in the marketing industry for well over 15 years now. So I've had some extremely successful businesses myself, have had the opportunity to really kind of see marketing and business from a tremendous amount of different industries. So I was the director of operations for a marketing house out of Central Ohio. I used to consult with private equity firms who were looking at acquisitions and mergers. So I was the guy behind the scenes analyzing large corporations on, where the current marketing medium was of that business right now, who their competition was, what new vertical that we could go ahead and possibly take these companies to post acquisition and merger. So it was really nice and insightful for me. So if you think about it, I'm sitting in the middle and I'm having opportunities to go ahead and see people from different industries with different needs on how to go ahead and properly portray their services or products to their consumer. So had a very well-rounded core ground game as it pertains to marketing. So all different businesses and different industries use vehicles like social media, paid advertisement, websites. And, I'm on the Hack Factory here. So I know that you're always trying to find different ways to go ahead and make people more effective, multiply their efforts. So there's a lot of stuff out there. And as technology evolved, things are changing. But what happened with KlevrLeads was I had a couple of real estate agents that walked through our marketing house, and it was the same kind of thing. It was, Mr. Wolfe, can you go ahead and help me better put my brand in front of my prospective consumer? And can you help us uniquely separate ourselves from our competition? So there is a lot of distracting softwares that are out there on the market right now. And, when Mark Zuckerberg really kind of came in with Facebook, he gave people a wonderful opportunity to go ahead and be impactful and get themselves out there. So prior to the social game, it was fairly cost prohibitive to go ahead and do a lot of marketing for people who didn't have a budget, and it was more business centric, things like that. So, however, when these agents actually came through our marketing house, we got ourselves into a position to where I was asking questions about what other softwares are out there that they're using CRM wise, that we can actually go ahead and land a lot of these prospects on. And I really didn't find something that was, extremely effective.
Right.
We locked our team in the boardroom a couple of years ago and literally said, all right, we're going to build something that I need in order to be impactful. So KlevrLeads is a powerhouse next-gen lead generation platform, but we don't think about leads the same way that everybody else does. So yes, we have the ability to go ahead and market on Facebook and try to go ahead and get some type of attention and drive it back. Everybody does. However, when you're thinking about knowing who's in your marketplace and a lead, we already know who the homeowners are. We have the National Real Estate Database. So for all my Clever agents, I literally download all of the homeowners that are confirmed inside of your zip code, not on the do not call list. We load that information into KlevrLeads and we start communicating to them. So we have all of the core communication that you would expect inside of a system like this, but we've actually changed some things around to where we're advancing communication. Perfect example, like our text deployments. Most systems would go ahead and have a way that if somebody was converting through your funnel, that your system might start nurturing, saying some things via text or via email, but we advance it on the front end. So I can go ahead and predetermine the exact communication that I want to go ahead and send out and associate that to, let's say, 100 people. Click the button. My system is literally sending text messages out to these folks. So we're putting up numbers that are huge. We're talking like every time you click the button inside of KlevrLeads into an identifiable audience, you're in conversation with over 60% of these people.
Yeah, we were talking about that just before, and that's an astounding amount of conversations that are taking place.
Sure. Yeah.
Right now, I mean, on most platforms, I would say any platform that I've ever heard of, any system or tool I've ever heard of, it's nowhere like that. Nothing even close. Maybe at 10, 15%, but that's even high. So 60%, that's a huge amount of people that are starting to communicate.
And that's the big thing, right? You guys as real estate agents need to go ahead and get into conversation with prospective customers, right? Yeah. So I tell all my Klever agents, I'm like, guys, let's go ahead and grab all the expired listings, the for sale by owners, the for rent by owners, the pre-foreclosures, because now here's a demographic audience that's inside of something that's more identifiable. We know that that listing has been expired. They're inside of an identifiable audience. So now we have obviously the demographic makeup of who those people are. But now we put together communication, we start to communicate out to them. And even with text, it's so powerful because now you're able to kick the bushes and identify any immediate intent, but then you can go ahead and shift them to staying in contact, permission type based audiences. So we have customizable landing pages that we built inside of KlevrLeads. So you as an agent can literally within 2 minutes have yourself a landing page where you can go ahead and shoot a video, embed that video onto the actual page itself. Now it has a unique URL that you can go ahead and email blast to all of the people that have given you permission or that are in your database so that they're constantly seeing your video week over week. And so when you talk about being the most brand aware real estate agent inside of your marketplace, that's what we do. So in business and in life, in business and marketing, it's about gaining the attention and rapport of the people inside of your community who are your prospective customers, gaining rapport enough to stay in contact with them, gain permission, and then be the brand ambassador for yourself and serve them with videos that are hyper-local information, stuff that's going on in your area, or even high-level national information. So
yeah, and that's all pretty incredible that you're able to do that. And, that's the important thing that, we keep seeing as a topic rise to the top. And that is to stay in communication with these people, develop a relationship with them. Don't be chasing the dollar. Okay, it's great if someone's ready, willing, and able, but it's developing that relationship and giving them something that's really of value instead of just going for the jugular every single time.
Well, we are in a weird situation. So all of my Klever agents across the U.S., everybody.
By the way, let me stop you. I love that, Klever agents. Because so many times I tell agents not to be secret agents. Okay, so Klever agents, that's a perfect fit. I'm sorry to interrupt.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I love it. So we have a private Facebook group, just like I think you do, Keith, right? And so all of the Klever agents are there. And literally every single day I'm going live and talking about what's working well in a certain area. Guys say this, turn around, go to your Klever account, do this. We're sharing a lot of valuable information that's actionable and applicable every single day so that everybody's more powerful and consistent like that. But everybody's in a same situation where if you're an active real estate agent right now, I'm sure you've got a pocket full of buyers. So I got
a bucket full of them. Never mind a bucket.
Right. So now what do you do with it? Inventory is low because, obviously the pandemic, plus now buyer demand has increased so substantially because of low interest rates and things along those lines. People are starting to get out and move around. So we use this to our advantage over here. A lot of the real estate agents that are not clever agents are pulling their hair out going, man, how do I go ahead and find inventory? And they're just sitting there staring at the multiple listing service, hoping that something pops out at them that then they can go ahead and put in front of one of their 10 buyers right now. And home goes on the market, and you better be taking action fast and now, because you're going to be inside of 10 other offers, depending on your actual marketplace, within the first 24 to 48 hours, and then people wanting to get into backup positions. But so we know that inventory is low, and we use it to our advantage. We literally are sending out communication to homeowners saying, hey, I just wanted to introduce myself. My name is Jake Wolfe. Let's say I work with eXp Realty here in the local area. I wanted to reach out and say hello to some of my neighbors. Obviously, I'm sure you're aware that inventory has been down because of the pandemic and buyer demand is high. I've got 10 ready to go pre-approved buyers right now that I'm trying to find some inventory with. I don't typically go ahead and outreach to some of the local folks, but I figured I would just introduce myself, say hello. I don't mean to be intrusive, and see if you or anybody that you know inside your neighborhood has had any thoughts of possibly selling in 2020 or maybe even next year. So it gives us a reason why, instead of the old, I am a real estate agent, you know what I mean? And it starts the conversation. And then at least you can go and get your name in front of these people. And then you can say, hey, you know what? I send out valuable information every single week. I literally shoot videos so that all my neighbors and people in my community are more informed with real estate. So when you have to make a decision in real estate, you're better armed to do so. And I'd love to stay in contact with you. So now you get a bunch of people in your permission-based marketing list just by way of your core ground game communication and outreach. And then they're seeing your video every single day. So when you talk about the power of a future pipeline, and that's what it is, you have to develop the cornerstones of your business, consistently communicate, and get people into a permission-based type audience, and then do it. And then hit those videos once a week, and it's some people, it's tough for them to go ahead and build videos. You just got to start doing it. And it's you jumping in front of a camera for 2 to 5 minutes, talking about some stuff that's relevant to you in the local marketplace. But then we take that video and then disseminate it to all the people that's inside your sphere. So,
yeah, that again, being a video guy, and obviously this group is video centric, and that's kind of the way of the world, right? It's definitely changed. A long time ago, communication was faxes. Okay.
Yeah.
Then you came around to using emails and then texts but now video, in combination with emails and texts are definitely the way, in my opinion, to reach that target audience and keep them engaged. Yeah. Because they want to know who they maybe want to do business with one day. They want to understand your personalities. They want to understand your idiosyncrasies. They want to hear your voice, and they start to get attracted to you as a person. They get to know you, and you've broken down that barrier of that cold introduction when you have to make the phone call to them because they came in as a lead, or you end up walking through their door to take a listing presentation. So through your platform, it's an awesome way to take down that wall, to remove those barriers, to make things so much easier for both sides.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. Speaking about that, just being omnipresent and top of mind inside of your marketplace. I was just on the phone with one of my clever agents yesterday, and ended up getting a referral from somebody who was in his permission-based audience. So here he is putting out information every single week, good quality stuff, just not being pushy, but more brand aware and community aware, and sending out that kind of message. There was a guy that was watching his videos. This gentleman's mother called from a different town and said, hey, I'm moving into Fayetteville, and do you know anybody I should talk to as far as a real estate agent? Yeah, call this person. You know what I mean? So you end up becoming referable because you're top of mind. Even if those consumers that you tried to target initially aren't doing anything real estate wise at the moment, at least your brand is out there. You're top of mind. So
yeah, that's critical to any business. And when we were chatting before, what you've put together is basically a marketing company in a box for people in real estate.
You're full control. You're in full control of your brand, your media, your communication, your ground game, and everything else like that. And then you're tied into my private community where literally you're getting this kind of leadership guidance, coaching from myself and my team members, and my social media management side of the house and my advertising side of the house. And we literally are pouring in these kind of knowledge nuggets every single day, and we're available to the whole team. So another thing here, Keith, with Clever is we will never allow for a clever agent to compete with another clever agent. So this isn't just available to everybody in your town, because we have this kind of personal relationship with every one of our clever agents, and we were wanting them to be the most dominant player in their local community, and we're going to help them get there. So another thing that we do is we target our competitors. So it's shocking for some of the clever agents when they first come in to hear how aggressive we are when we actually target our competition. But GMC does it to Ford. Ford does it to Chevy. Pizza Hut does it to Papa John's. So real estate agents, multiple businesses inside of a area are all competing to go ahead and gain attention and rapport from prospective customers. Obviously, it's business. So what we do is we load up every single one of our competitors to our primary clever agents. We get their first name, last name, phone, email addresses, and everything else. And we target them on our networks and do geofencing and everything else. So I can go ahead and get out in front of people who are searching for our competitors and then send display advertisements right to their smart devices, and then give them an opportunity to go ahead and click on a link and come back and see a video where you're enhancing your unique selling proposition and telling those prospective customers why they should do business with you and taking them through a journey.
Yeah. And so, you touched on something that, I've used in the past, and I know it has morphed over time since I've used it into something that's even more incredible. And why don't we just chat about geofencing for a while and how you guys deploy that?
Yeah. So I've done geofencing throughout the years with some large, big brands, and this typically hasn't been available to the individual consumer unless you're sitting down spending $50,000 plus a month in advertising. Right. So you can't even get a seat at the table. So I ended up sitting down with the network and the vice president and let them know what we're getting ready to deploy with KlevrLeads, and then I wanted to utilize geofencing for all of my real estate agents. So how does this work? What does it do? When we're talking about farming, I put all of my clever agents and they become the most omnipresent real estate agent inside of a farm. Perfect example. Let's say you had a farm territory of 500 addresses, 500 homes, and you wanted to consistently put your brand out in front of them, just like real estate agents have historically done with postcarding.
Right.
Send postcards, send letters, send postcard. But what we do is we literally load every single one of those addresses up into my intelligence network. We do a parcel match, and then I can go ahead and literally serve hundreds of thousands of impressions into that audience every single month for literally $1.50 to $2 a door. So every single smart device is literally getting 4 impressions of your advertisements every single day inside of a home. And I'm talking every smart device. So the network is built with a lot of artificial intelligence and machine learning to the point where it almost in real time can go ahead and purchase advertisements and place it on the most relevant websites, in-app, connected television, and everything else in front of those people.
And that's a very interesting point that you brought up, because not too long ago, I was having a chat with someone from a large geofencing company. Yep. And one of those things that have morphed over time that I found out through this conversation was that it's no longer just the phone.
Yeah.
It includes smart TVs as well. So if you're streaming and you're watching whatever it happens to be that you're watching, Gilligan's Island, whatever it is, and there's a commercial break or whatever, your impression can pop up if you have that geofenced area.
Yeah,
and that's incredible. You know how much, just to go out and try to even buy the basic cable, advertisement, local advertisement, costs hundreds of dollars, if not thousands a month to do.
Correct.
And that's cheap.
Yeah, correct.
But this way, combined with everything else, you're actually delivering it. You can deliver it right to the smart television.
Correct. So I guess how I like to go ahead and think about it is that geofencing is a vehicle that businesses can go ahead and utilize, large corporations and industries. Now, for me, I have this seat. Now I'm making it applicable to real estate agents, but it's about how we put it into play, how it works. If you hand that technology and capability to somebody like myself that's an advanced marketer and has been for 15 years, now I'm very purposeful with it, and we're being extremely impactful for all of our agents. Yeah. So here's the cool thing, right? So it allows for me to go ahead and target people directly. Now, that's huge. If we know who we want to target, I can go target them. Now I put hundreds of thousands of impressions onto their smart devices. Then what happens? They click on it, and then they drop right to your landing page inside of KlevrLeads, where your video is there. And they have the ability to go ahead and watch your brand. They can enter their information below to go ahead and get in contact with you. However, we pixel every single one of those landing pages for you. So now all of a sudden I've tracked these people, and then we can use social in a retargeting game instead of a direct targeting, because now it's just about being omnipresent. As soon as I go ahead and set up a campaign to go out after any audience for any one of my Clever Farms, the people that are getting inside my pixels and inside my intelligence community, inside of the geofencing side of the house, will never get away from us.
Yeah, let's just bring something up for a second, because you touched on a very specific word that I just want to kind of clarify or share with some folks, and that's pixels. And if you're not familiar with it, it's not some kind of foreign disease. It's really kind of cool. It's it's a code that's in your landing page, or you can put it in multiple places, but inside your landing page that will capture the cookies of a viewer, and then from there, you have the ability to retarget them when they come back to various platforms.
Correct.
Yeah.
So it's more expensive on social media, and I know how to use Facebook very well. My team and I are advanced Facebook marketers. Yeah. And we've watched the evolution of this thing, and we've watched the deterioration of the targeting capabilities after Zuckerberg was getting interrogated by the House and Senate Judiciary Committee. And then when Ben Carson's comes in with HUD and starts to go ahead and scrutinize on targeting towards zip codes because of some discriminatory advertising, because he said that real estate agents are more likely to go ahead and market to more affluent neighborhoods versus Section 8 and HUD. And I'm going, well, of course, there's it is what it is. But
yeah, and there's segments of agents that do service both of those marketplaces.
Understood. Yeah. But anyways, our targeting capability is diminished. Mm-hmm. So if we can go ahead and still use Facebook because people are on there, we do it in a different way. We're not pitchy and direct, like you're advertising to sell a car or get in front of somebody to go ahead and purchase a pizza, or we're not selling a specific product that's a one-off purchase. For the real estate industry, we're trying to consistently go ahead and enhance brand and make sure that you are a brand ambassador and you're communicating constantly into your marketplace, so that when these people have to make one of the biggest decisions of their life to go ahead and sell their home or purchase a home, they think you're the person to go ahead and do it. So, that's one of the things that I talk to all the Clever agents about all the time. And we're having these conversations in the back end. And we're saying, hey guys, look, yes, you can target a group of homes. You don't know if that person's going to sell this year or in 5 years or in 8 months or anything else like that. But it's a rule of numbers. It's a law of averages, right? But you consistently want to go ahead and spread that brand awareness, and we can do it. So, another thing that we do we're advanced in the business and marketing side of the house. So we intentionally go ahead and communicate directly to our competitors. And what I like to do is I like to get them to go to work for us. So if you think about it like this, if I have a listing, I go ahead and throw that listing or a virtual tour or something like that up on one of my landing pages. All right. And then I take that link and I put a blast text together or a blast email, and I send that right to every single one of the real estate agents that are competing with me inside of my metropolitan area. And I say, hey, this is Jake Wolfe. I've got this listing. Here's a link. If you have buyers, share it for me, please. So most people are lazy and it's time consuming, right? But now if all of a sudden they have, and I'm talking about our competition, if they have a link that they can serve directly their consumer, you're getting that out in front of them. You're almost putting your competition to work for you. Or if you have a question, blast everybody. Hey, it's Jake over here at eXp Realty. Just wanted to touch base with you real quick. Do you know of this? Do you know of this? Is there somebody I should be talking to about this? We use blast communication to go ahead and literally start talking to every single one of our competitors. And they don't even know that from a psychology standpoint, that we're literally putting the whole workforce of the real estate industry to work for you directly.
Yeah,
so.
That's amazing. And we touched on farming a little bit. I know another segment that you've been working on with our friend Greg is the FSBO market, and that's something that a lot of agents really have a problem with. It's kind of like circle prospecting.
Yeah.
They just don't want to pick up the phone and talk to a stranger.
Understood. Okay. Most people don't want to talk to you either. And I think you guys have all dealt with this. Now,
I think we're afraid that we know that they don't want to talk to us, so they may say something mean to us, and we don't want to be offended.
Understood. That's why I lean on the power. That's why I lean on the power of text right now. So my daughter inside my own home sometimes texts me instead of actually walking down from her bedroom to find out. So I've had to have this conversation with my daughter, who's a sophomore in high school. And I said, honey, listen, your dad is a little old school here. Okay. Even though he uses technology all the time, I would like to see you when you want to ask me a question, especially if you're in the same house. Anyways, so that's a funny little example. However, people don't like talking. And the more that social gets out there, they're kind of hiding behind the social persona. You hear it frequently a lot of times on the news that we're trying to get the younger generation out to actually communicate like most of the older generations has had to over time and utilize communication because everybody's doing this. So now as it comes into how we in the real estate industry start circle prospecting, I go ahead and load up all of these people and we start kindly introducing ourselves. We say we don't mean to intrude. This phone number was associated to the address. Are you the owner by chance? And that's why we're able to get these response rates up, because we perfected the psychology of the actual communication of the outreach into these segmentable audiences to where we're actually in conversations with 60+% of these people. And it's not intrusive to the people that are actually receiving it, believe it or not, because it's actually a time savings thing. And those people have over the years been contacted via phone all the time. And you know what? It's starting to get intrusive. The phone call is, so they would rather text. And we're getting into those conversations. Absolutely. But let me talk to you about FSBOs. Let me talk to you about for rent by owners. Let me talk about some of the advanced psychology and business marketing mindset that we have over here on the Clever side.
I'd love to hear, man. You're like a fountain of like incredible information. It's awesome to hear that finally someone's put this together. They figured it out and they're bringing it to the table, to the marketplace.
Yeah,
it's awesome.
All of the other softwares that are out there that are CRM capability, lead generation kind of capability, I consider it singular instead of dynamic. And as you can tell, when we start having conversations and squeezing down our databases and putting people into more intent-based lists, it's purposeful. It's purposeful. So perfect example. Let's talk about for rent by owners. So one of my beta agents, Greg McDaniel, and maybe a lot of people inside of your audience might know him. He's the podcast host for Real Estate Uncensored. He's #1 Inman contributor for a lot of his articles, and fantastic guy, personal friend of mine, beta agent at KlevrLeads, and he's putting up numbers on the board that would absolutely amaze anybody, period, right? So let's talk about for rent by owners, and let's talk about the advanced psychology. So now we have a list of for rent by owners. These are affluent people or sophisticated in nature enough to where they own a primary home that they live in, and then they've done something right in their life to where they could obtain a rental home or multiple properties, right? And now they have this home listed for rent by owner. Okay. So Greg's in a position to where if he actually identifies a property that would be agreeable to him, he would purchase and add it to his own personal portfolio. So we use this to our advantage. So Greg says, hi, this is Greg McDaniel, eXp Realty here in Walnut Creek. I saw your home at Route 1234 Pine Street listed for rent by owner. 1 minute later, another text message goes out. I don't mean to intrude. This phone number was associated to the address. Are you the owner by chance? I'm looking to purchase an additional rental property for myself, and I was wondering if you'd be open to possibly selling, ? So all of a sudden he gets into a conversation. Now this is first touch, right? So what did we do? We introduced ourselves. We said, we don't mean to intrude. The phone number is associated with the address. We asked if they're the owner to go ahead and get a confirmation there. And then we gave them a reason. Now you're sitting inside of KlevrLeads, inside of your SMS inbox, where if you send that message out to 100 people, you're going to spend the next 3 or 4 hours having conversations and cleaning this stuff up. Greg and I, about 4 months ago, we loaded up an audience of 500 people, built a message, clicked the button, sent it to 500 people. And within the first 30 minutes, 160 people were responding to him. By the next morning, Greg had over 280 of those people talking to him. He literally had to take the whole day off of work to go ahead and just sit there and communicate back. And it took him 9 straight hours of fast texting back and forth out of your KlevrLeads system in order to just clean that up. So nobody thought that he wasn't communicating back to him.
Well, that's more than amazing. That's like stupendous. That's incredible. That kind of response, it exists. That's the incredible thing is that, you've packaged this in such a way that it's not intrusive and it's the best method of communication, and they're responding.
Yes. So let's talk about the psychology of this front by owner list now. So Greg reaches out and says what I just previously said to you. So you get a whole bunch of this. No, Greg, I'm not interested in selling my property. It's got really good rents. I don't think I'm going to sell it. Or he's actually got into some conversations where, you know what, I wouldn't be interested in selling that property, but I do have another one that I'm thinking about exchanging, trading up, or possibly selling. You know what I mean? So he gets into those kind of conversations. However, what we always do is we try to go ahead and move those people into some type of permission-based mindset. So Greg and I were sitting down and we were talking about it. And I said, Greg, why don't you just let them know that you work really hard in the marketplace. Obviously, you're a real estate agent, that from time to time you go ahead and uncover opportunities, off-market homes or rental properties that might be of interest to them. Would you like for me to go ahead and put you on my list and actually give you some ideal targets if they come up from time to time? So Greg, just recently, in the last 3 weeks, we hit a friend by owner list. We sent those messages out to a total of right above 300. Yeah. We cleaned up a friend by owner list in his local area, and I pulled him into the 100 contact bites because we didn't want to go ahead and overload ourselves like we did again the other day. We wanted to go ahead and hit 100 at a time, work through it, segment that audience, get the permission. And out of the 300 folks, Greg has gained over 55 sophisticated homeowners that have given him permission to go ahead and stay in contact with him and actually serve them properties that might be off market whenever he identifies it.
That's incredible.
And he also set like 5 different appointments, and he's got some hot leads out of that might want to do something now. So what do? We kick the bushes to identify immediate intent, gain permission and rapport. But think about the power of you now having rapport with 50 sophisticated multiple property homeowners in your local area that have just given you permission to stay in contact with them if you uncover something. So now fast forward a little bit. Now you're out there, you're talking to different people, you're talking to homeowners, and you could literally say, I've got 50 sophisticated multiple property homeowners here in the local area that I'm personally in contact with, and I could go ahead and present this property to them off market right now. And we could go ahead and see if anybody has any immediate intent if you want to. So when you talk about the pure power of you as a real estate agent to go ahead and represent a home seller, you could say, hey, you know what? Even during that initial consultation, what are you thinking about selling it for? Let's take a couple pictures quick. Let me just go ahead and blast this to 50 people right now while we're sitting here and see if anybody has any interest.
Yeah, and that really answers one of the big conundrums that's come up. It started, I guess it was in May. It was NAR passed the ruling, I guess, back in January, but it started in May, and that is, the cooperation or clear cooperation new clause thing where if you have a listing, you have to put it in the MLS system within 24 hours of bringing it to the public's attention, whatever method you may be using. And this is such a great workaround for that, because these may never come to the market, but you are looked upon by those people that you're communicating with as you're really in the throes of the marketplace. You understand it. You're a professional and you're doing this. And everyone knows that the best deals always are ones that never actually make it to the MLS.
Yeah.
Those are the homes that everyone wants to buy. Well, they don't want the competition. They don't want the headache. They don't want to go into multiple offers. They want to purchase the house.
Yeah. It's intrusive sometimes. Go put the for sale by owner sign outside in your front yard. Next thing you know, you're personally having conversations with every neighbor on your street, and they're all asking, hey, what's going on? You're moving? Why are you moving? Where are you going? What's going on? So, but the other thing too, when you're actually, as your real estate business evolves and you start getting into multiple, multifamily type units and that kind of a audience, those people are purchasing more often than not. They're investors. They're increasing their portfolio. They've got a core net worth. Those homes move around and sell and things along those lines. But they play in this off-market world most of the time, because if I have an 8-family apartment complex and all of a sudden a for sale sign goes out in the front yard, or those people that are currently renting know that the home is getting ready to sell, or it disrupts even your core business of the actual multi-unit itself. So there's a private side of that world out there in the whole for rent by owner space. But so think about the psychology of it. Everybody else makes a phone call, but then what are you going to do? Even if we individually sent a text message, and if Greg stopped at, no, I'm not interested, then he wouldn't have had that person give him permission to stay in contact. And then that's power, huge power in your business. So here's what we do at KlevrLeads. We talk about the psychology, the sophistication, the business aptitude, and the hows and whys to go ahead and communicate and what to do and everything else to these people all the time. And every single segmentable audience, from FSBOs, for rent by owners, expireds, pre-foreclosures, COVID impacted, likely artificial intelligence, pre-market data. So we are aggressive advertisers. We are true staunch business professionals, and we are extreme marketers. And we are educating our whole Clever family and our audience so that they're the most dominant real estate agent in their market.
Yeah, and there's no doubt that you're going to succeed at doing that as well. And one of the things that you brought up just a second ago, you mentioned, was AI, and I know that plays a role a little bit. And not everyone fully understands AI and its role in real estate right now. It's still, it's not prevalent yet, but it is there and it does work. You want to chat about that for a minute?
Sure. So we built an integration with likely artificial intelligence. We spent 2 months building in this integration. So if you're associated with likely AI, every single month, likely kicks you out a list. And the list basically is comprised of people who are most likely to sell their homes in the next 90 days before that home's even on the market. So there's things that we do, and it's the same kind of AI machine learning type tracking of predictive analytics and known audiences inside of our intelligence network for geofencing. But what he did with his data scientists is actually pulled down a lot of big third-party data, a lot of information. So there's things that we all do in life that kind of leaves a trail, especially from a digital technology standpoint. Maybe you're searching for schools in a certain area. There's ways to go ahead and kind of get people segmented into a most likely that they're selling audience before they actually Google real estate agent in my hometown. So the NAR statistics, I was reading a report, and don't quote me specifically on this, but I think it was like high 70s or 80% of people, maybe even was a little bit higher than that, when they actually decide to go ahead and actually list their home only interview one real estate agent before actually doing the listing. So in that moment, when all of a sudden they're making a decision to purchase, we now have advanced analytics through Likely to where we can start getting our brand out in front of these people who are most likely to go ahead and sell their homes before any of your competitors do. So the power of Likely intelligence coupled with KlevrLeads' advanced communication capability, so I can direct target. I'm literally geofencing all of those addresses, sending your brand into every single smart device. You can send them a postcard. We can shoot them a text message, send them an email, call them now. So we want to go ahead and give an edge to every single one of the Clever agents so that their competitors don't have an opportunity to go ahead and get there first. We'll get there first. And then we'll enhance our unique selling proposition. We intentionally put together things so that we clearly communicate who we are, what we're doing, and why we are better, and also go ahead and start talking about the journey that can be expected if they go ahead and decide to do business with you.
Mm-hmm. And that's all part of that, being omnipresent, being everywhere,
Right.
and that's where everyone's eyeballs are, especially now during COVID. I don't think that's ever really going to change. We all have figured out that it's very easy technology to use. If we've been using this, I know you and I have been using this for a long time, but other agents that have just started it up, they had no choice, but it's easy to use. It's flexible. And this is where everyone's eyeballs are. And now it's going to be, coming out of the gate, the first ones out of the gate, those are the ones that are going to attract the business. They're the ones that are going to, grab that market share to be able to brand themselves and be the first ones that are being presented. Absolutely. And everyone else is going to have to play catch up. Mm-hmm. And here's the problem with that for a lot of agents, because your platform is one person in an area or metropolitan area, I guess it is metropolitan town, city, whatever. And so, if you miss the boat, literally you've missed the boat, and unless someone decides to stop using it. But from everything I've seen, from everything I've heard, from everything we've talked about, everything I've talked about with Greg and everything else about this, I mean, it just seems like, this is the boat to be on. And if you're not on this boat, then you're going to have to wait your chance for it to come back up. And that may be a long time for it to come back up.
And we're not saying this to be disrespectful to anybody. What we're saying is that we won't let a clever agent compete with another clever agent.
Right.
So I know the territories that these people work, and I'm willing to go ahead and pour my heart and soul, and the whole team is, into doing this on behalf of the clever agent with the clever agent. And we're not going to allow for any watering down, because we're so aggressive when it comes to business marketing, taking over market share, becoming omnipresent. So,
yeah, well, and that's what I like about it is your stance on that, and also the aggressiveness that you refer to, because that's what you need to have in this business. I mean, if you don't have the fortitude, you don't have to really be aggressive, but you have to be aggressive in the fact that you're getting up, you're doing this every single day. This is something you're following through with. This is how you're building your business. You actually have a plan, and not only a plan, but you have a vision, and you want to see that vision come to fruition. And by using, KlevrLeads, and it takes a lot of the heavy lifting away from having to do this. Can you imagine? Let's just throw a number out there. 300 text messages. Would you say that's about right, that you may want to send out as maybe an initial way of communication?
I would say 100 first.
Okay.
You're having, and I'm serious when I say this, if what you say is correct and it resonates well and it's not intrusive, you'll be able to get into conversations with over 50% of any type of list that you send out to.
Well, look at it, and I'm going in a different direction with this, which is, how would you like to have to send out manually 100 texts?
Yeah.
That's going to take you 9 hours to do.
Yeah.
I know there's some shortcuts, and I know there's some companies out there that you could pay to send them out. But then once they go out, that's the end of their job, and if they reply to you, they reply to you, but that's the end of it. The things just stop at that point, and it's up to you as an agent to develop your own system, your own way of taking that to the next step. Mm-hmm. which is going to do what? It's going to take up more of your time because it's going to be trial and error to try to figure that out.
Yeah. Yeah. The game is multi-step, right? It always is. And it's just like I talked to you about the psychology of what we say and how we present ourselves to even that for rent by owner list. Marketing and business done well, it's kind of multi-stepped, right? So same kind of thing. You want to go ahead and initially communicate to everybody in your local marketplace, say hello, gain permission, and then stay consistent with multiplying your efforts by using video onto landing pages, sending your brand out to all of these folks, advertising so that they see your brand, retargeting so that they see your brand, so that when they actually make a decision to do something in real estate, you're the person that they think about. So, yeah.
Well, Jake, it's an awesome platform. I can't wait to get involved in it personally.
Yeah.
I know the circles you run in, and those people are the big dogs in the real estate industry. Sure. And they're into it, and they're getting results from it. And it's not smoke and mirrors. It's not the BS shiny thing that's out there that says, hey, set it and forget it. You'll wake up in the morning to 2,000 new leads. You'll be a millionaire overnight. That's not what this is. This is coming from fact-based technology, trial and error, perfection, and you brought it to this height. And I just want to thank you for your time today and sharing all this with everyone. I know your web address has been up on the screen all conversation, KlevrLeads.com. I'm going to put that link up with the video as well to make sure that anyone that wants to get a hold of you could reach out directly, get a hold of you, find out about your Facebook group, find out more about their specific area and what it is that you will be able to do for them.
Absolutely.
Cool.
Absolutely.
Well, Jake, as always, great to see you. Let's go hijack another one of Greg's broadcasts one day. And we'll see you soon. But thanks so much for joining us. We appreciate it. And stay safe out there, my man.
Have a blessed, unstoppable day, Keith. Thank you again. And I'm looking forward to meeting all you folks out there.
See you, Jake. Bye-bye now.